Hi there, I'm Janelle Lawrence and welcome to my channel. In one of my previous videos, I spoke about determining your realistic instructional days. Like a lot of teachers go in planning for 180 instructional days, but there's clearly not 180 instructional days, especially if you've been in a school for a little while, you realize a lot of days are eaten up for stuff like assessments or like state exams and assemblies and field trips and other emergencies that we actually do not have 180 days. Now, going into the school year thinking you have 180 days, and then to find out, like I did, I only have 115 days, that could really affect how many units you can get through your it really affects your pacing. So I know I spoke about it and I might have shown like me calculating it, but I wanted to slow it down and really show you how we calculate the days so that you can do that at home. I'm using this template to help me. If you want it, I'll link it below, and I might actually put a QR code in the screen. So if you want, you can just grab it, and you just have to put in an email. You don't have to use it to do the calculations. Just follow along, get a pen and paper, and let's go. All right, so we start here with this calculator. So where you start is by starting how many weeks of school do you have? If you're in a traditional school or public school, you probably have 40 weeks of school and your students meet 5 days a week. I know some charter schools meet, sorry, there's a squirrel in the tree. I know some charter school might have more than 40 days a week or private school, so you have to put in the weeks times the days you meet. And that equals 200. Then if you deduct about 20 days for holidays, breaks, and school and schedule closures, that brings you down to 180. Now, you also have to add buffer days, and in my case, or in this example, I have 10. And then that shows that I have 170 days. However, that's not the case for me. I'm not in a school, or I, as a social studies teacher, middle school social studies teacher, I only see my students 4 times a week. So that already cut my days down to 160. So if you're seeing your students 5 days a week and you take all the deductions, you're at 170, where I'm already at 160 just to begin without the deductions. Now, for the deductions, that's simple. Go on your school's calendar or your district calendar, and it should outline all the holidays and scheduled school closures. There are a lot of squirrels here. I just Google Departments of Education public school calendar, and it just pops up. All right, so looking at my calendar, the first day off my students are gonna have is September 21st. It's a Monday, and it'll be close to Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur. Then I have Indigenous Peoples Day, then I have Veterans Day, and then Thanksgiving recess. Thanksgiving recess, I'm gonna add for the other three, that's minus 1 day, and then for Thanksgiving recess, I'm gonna minus 2 days because my students will be off Thursday and Friday, right? So that's 2 days out of the 40 weeks, so that's I'm counting it. You see, I do something different for winter recess. Winter recess from December 24th to January 1st. So it starts on a Thursday and ends on a Friday. So that Thursday and Friday, I'm gonna count those as 2 days. And then for the rest of the week, I'm not going to count that because that would not have been inside of the 40 weeks. So when you're doing your 40 weeks, you're doing 40 instructional weeks. So if you're out for a full week for some kind of winter break or spring break, you're not going to count that. But if you're out for a week and a half, you're going to count the days that would have been part of one of your 40s. If you have 2 weeks, then you won't count those 2 weeks, if that makes sense. Once a week has started, you're going to count that, even if it's just a day or two in that week. You see the same thing with midwinter recess. It's from Monday to Friday, so I won't count that as one of my weeks. I didn't write it down. But for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that's a day. Let me know in the comment section, do you get Eid off where you live at? I love that we get Eid, those 2 days. I so need them. But I think it extended our school year because I feel like in other years we finish school on a Monday. And this year we're finishing on a Friday, I think. And it's because of Eid and Juneteenth and whatever other recess. add whatever other added days off, but it's okay. I love celebrating other cultures and making sure that their culture is being served and celebrated and they get that time off as well. But let me know in the comment section where you teach at. Is Eid a holiday? Do the students have that off? All right, now that I have my days, I have listed all the holidays and breaks and closures I'm gonna have. I'm gonna count those up, and as you can see, I have 17 holidays or breaks during the school year. So I'm gonna go back up and put my 17 in the on the first page of my graphic. So now I have 160 minus 17, which is 143. Now it's time to look at the buffer days. Buffer days are days that you schedule that you might need that will take away from your instruction days. So for me, I'm doing middle school social studies, actually 7th grade social studies. So the beginning of the school year, I do something called the beginning of the year mini unit, where I go over classroom expectations and that kind of stuff. And that's going to be 5 days this year. So I'm going to give myself a buffer day. I call it unit 0 in my curriculum because it's not really curriculum. I'm not teaching social studies content. I'm just going over the expectations and procedures in my classroom. Then I'm going to take off a state exam days, which is 2 days for the ELA and 2 days for the math. If I taught 8th grade, I would have taken off an extra day because they also have the science state test, but they don't do it in my school in 6th and 7th grade. Reset days in January after the school. After we come back from break, I feel like the students need to be reminded about the classroom expectations and rules and that kind of stuff. And I might do it in 1 or 2 days, but I put 2 for now. Field trips, we have a lot at my school, assemblies. I don't normally do reteach, so I don't do reteach, but I'm gonna leave a spot for snow days because I think in the last year we had 2 snow days, and the year before that, I don't know if we had the snow days, but the year before that, I know we didn't have any. So I'm just gonna put 2 just in case. Snow days, we normally work remote, but honestly, curriculum is not happening during that time. It's probably just makeup. So I'm gonna put snow days. And then I put 1 for random interruptions, just because I felt like, I'm not sure what that random interruption will be, but it could be something like not a fire drill. That wouldn't be a whole day, but maybe there might be a lockdown for real and we might lose a day for some reason. I don't know. I just put a random day or a random interruption. So now that we add everything up, I have 28 days for my buffer days. Right? So now 17 plus 28 is 7 and 8 is 15, so 35 days. So 160 minus 35 equals 115 days. So again, at the beginning, I said I went from 180 instructional days to 160. But then after accounting that I only see my students 4 times a week, that 160 is where we start off, and now I'm at 115 days. And again, that is a lot different than 180 or 160, and that could be the difference between getting 2 units or 3 units done. And if you want to get your curriculum and get everything done, you need to know this. Again, if you want, you can get this printable. You can do it on a printable. You can do it on the you can get this printable. You can print it out and do it by hand and paper, or you can just pull it onto your tablet or computer, whatever, your phone, and just fill it out that way. And here is a simple thing, how I calculated how I got to 115 days. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully that helped. And again, let me know if you get Eid off. And looking at my list, is there a holiday that you get off that I don't? I know in some places St. Patrick's Day is an actual school holiday, and that's cool. So where are you in the part of the country or world, and what holidays you get off that are unique to you and not to me? All right, bye. Thank you for now.